Madam Deputy Speaker. I'd like to declare an interest as Chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on the Environment, and I'd like to thank all my constituents who write to me so regularly about environment issues, and a big shout-out to South Thames College and their Net Zero Training Hub, which has been built in response to so much demand for green jobs in our local area and is really helping to boost the net zero economy in South West London. I welcome the Government's commitment to the 7th carbon budget in this London Climate Action Week, on a day which is the hottest June day ever on record. And this week's heatwave, a stark reminder of what is at stake here. Climate change is no longer a distant threat we're talking about in the future. It's here now. It's affecting lives, livelihoods and public services across our country, and especially in London. The question is whether we respond with the urgency this moment demands and the long-term thinking that this carbon budget demonstrates. We are seeing those consequences of extreme heat in transport, in halting rail services, in pressurising our energy system, forcing school closures, over 1,000, I'm afraid I went, sorry, over 1,000 today alone, and it creates unsafe working conditions, especially for those in physical roles, like my son on a construction site today. Food production is at risk, productivity falls, services stretch, and working people pay the price too often. The human toll has not been talked about in this debate so far, Madam Deputy Speaker, but is very sobering. Last summer, the hottest on record was linked to more than 1,500 heat-related deaths in England alone. Without decisive action, these consequences will only intensify. And the Carbon 7 budget does what it needs to do most and what business needs most, which is clarity. With a stable, long-term direction, investment follows, supporting jobs, strengthening supply chains and driving innovation, as we are seeing already. We are already seeing this in the UK's growing net zero economy, but it also delivers wider co-benefits, warmer homes, lower bills, cleaner air and better public health. This is about improving lives, such as the air quality in Putney. And it's welcome news that in London, deaths linked to toxic air have reduced by 40% in 5 years as a result of the policies brought in by the Mayor, those clean buses and ULEZ. Public support does remain strong, but confidence in delivery is weaker. Too often, people cannot see that clear path to net zero, and that's why the Carbon Budget 7 really matters. It doesn't just set the destination, but gives confidence in the journey, in more affordable heat pumps. We need more car clubs, we need more trees and more council insulation projects. But while I support the government's approach, I want to raise a serious concern about the expansion of Heathrow Airport, which is projected to add 9 million tonnes of emissions each year. How can this square with what we're working to do to reduce emissions across every sector? I'd like to draw attention to the Heathrow Expansion National Policy Statement, the HENPS. It's not very snappy, but it's very important. The consultation was launched last week, and to anyone listening, especially to my constituents in Putney, I hope you will get involved in that. And I ask the Minister, how does this align with our commitments under the Carbon Budget 7? How can we ensure that aviation... I certainly will.
Just on that, can I, through her, ask the Minister to look at the actual statement itself, which seems not to align with the policies we're advocating today, but also some of the factual evidence that's been produced as part of the impact studies as well, that the government has also published, but doesn't seem to be reflected in the statement accurately.
I thank my honourable friend for that. We are looking at the science here. The carbon budget's related to the science, and the statement about Heathrow expansion has got to be related to the science and the evidence as well. So, finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Carbon Budget 7 is very welcome. It is very necessary and urgent. And I really welcome the government's leadership, not only for us in our country, but also showing the way and leading other countries as well. And I've seen that in many places. If we get this right, we can deliver not just on climate, but on jobs, on food security, on national security, on growth, on health, and our resilience for decades to come. Thank you.